Alright, yeah, so back at UFC 285, we all seen Valentina lose her title to Alexa Grasso. She got finished in that fight. It was a good fight. I would say Valentina was winning, even though she lost. In my opinion, she lost the first round, but after that, she made some adjustments to go for more wrestling, and it took her a bit of time to start adjusting to Alexa Grasso fighting in the southpaw stance. But regardless, Dana White has said that this is the next fight that's going to happen for the title at flyweight. And it makes sense, Valentina coming into 23, she hadn't lost her belt since 2018. And 2022 obviously is a year where a bunch of new champions got their belt and a lot of champions lost their belt. But regardless, Valentina was a long-time champion, had a lot of title defenses. She was right up there with Amanda Nunes as the second best female fighter of all time. But what happens? Eventually you're eventually gonna get a loss. No matter how dominant you are, even though there's some guys like Khabib and John Jones who've never lost, but that's just two anomalies. But Valentina, regardless, she's gonna come back. I'm assuming. It's probably they haven't announced it for August or any month before August. So it's probably going to happen in September, anywhere from September to December. And, this is an interesting topic because this year we've seen guys like Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo fight for the title. And the reason I'm bringing them up is because they've gone into a fight as a challenger. And in both those fights, those guys were both above 35 years old. And Valentina, she recently turned 35. Maybe it was in May or March. But she's 35. And like I mentioned in a previous video, that champions from the welterweight division all the way to the flyweight division. And for women's, it's I don't think they keep the record for women's, but it's kind of this similar situation. The older you are in the lower weight class, the less you're leaving your prime basically. And in the lower weight class, a lot of it is based on your prime, your physical abilities and everything like that. So a lot of that is going to change once you start getting to that 35 years of age mark. And Valentina is that age. And now, it's arguable that in her last two fights, you could say that she was starting to slow down a bit. Because the Tyler Santos fight was really close when it came to the grappling. And that's what seems to be the weakness. She's good at grappling. It's just that when her opponents do it and force it on her, she doesn't always find success. So in her defensive grappling. But when she's doing it offensively, she can do well. But Alexa Grasso did the same thing. But she didn't take her down. She just capitalized on a mistake Valentina did on the feet and then submitted her. But on the feet, Valentina looked good. But it seems like her striking it hasn't changed too much over the years. She kind of does the same things, but she does it really well. She's very fast, has good reactions, and that's what makes it tricky as well. But sometimes like I said, it's kind of the same thing that she does. And that's how she got finished in the fight. She was kind of slowly starting to load her hips. And Alexa Grasso saw that. And she must have thought, okay, a kick's probably going to come. Or maybe a spinning back fist. But either way, I'm going to crowd her. So that way she doesn't get a full extension on it. And it kind of gets stuffed in the way. And that's what happened in the fight. But for this rematch, like I said, the age part, it plays a big factor. I'm not sure if that's due to the fighter just slowly starting to decrease their skills, or maybe the challengers just growing in confidence because they know they can beat the champion that at the time looked like maybe they were unbeatable. But either way, I think that Valentina has a good chance of winning this fight. I would favor her for now because I think she's the more well-rounded fighter. On the feet, she's not just throwing hands, and she can take Alexa Grasso down. And the thing about that fight was, Alexa Grasso's takedown defense didn't look that good. But when the fight was on the ground, like Alexa Grasso's jiu-jitsu was really good to the point where Valentina Shevchenko couldn't do much. Like at one point, she was in this side control and she had the crucifix. And Valentina is very dominant from the crucifix position. She finished Jessica Andrade in that position. She finished Caitlin Chukagian. She was close to finishing Jessica I in that position. But Alexa Grasso studied the tape really well. She came in prepared and she had great defense to that move that Valentina does in the crucifix, or she's just throwing those elbows, and I don't think she got hit with an elbow in that position. I think she was able to get away before the elbows were getting started. But as for what Valentina can do in this rematch, I don't think she actually changed that much. Like me personally, I thought she was gonna throw more kicks. I know Alexa kind of changed stance, and I guess Valentina wasn't expecting it. But one thing I would have done, since now they're in the same stance, both southpaw, Valentina should have kicked her legs a lot. But I think that's one thing about Valentina is she doesn't really prepare for a specific opponent. She just kind of tries to make her skills really good. She is very, very well rounded, and she makes all her skills really good to the point where her style can kind of take on most styles. But there comes a point in time where you're gonna have to prepare specifically for a certain opponent, and I think that's the adjustment that she has to make in this fight. She's gonna have to prepare for someone like Alexa Grasso, who's gonna use her hands, who's gonna switch stance and fight in southpaw stance. Valentina should just, and she's very heavy on her lead leg. She kind of leans a bit, but that leg is very open to being kicked. And the more you can compromise your opponent, the better. Chop her leg, go for front kicks to the body to slow her from pressuring. Because she was pressuring Valentina, and in the finishing sequence, Valentina was closer to the fence. She didn't have that much space for the spinning back kick, which is a part of the reason why Alexa Grasso was able to take her back from that situation. So find space, keep her away with the front kick. She had a great jab, to be honest. So use your jab again when Alexa Grasso does that, and don't always look for the check hook, because Valentina was doing that, but Alexa Grasso was doing a double jab, left hand, which would throw Valentina off because she was expecting the jab and then the left, but since Grasso doubled up on the jab, it kind of threw off her timing, and she wasn't able to be as effective, and she left herself wide open. If she gets hit that many times too clean on the chin, you could go down. You never know. But either way, I think Valentina has a really good chance if she makes the right adjustments to beat Alexa Grasso. But I'm excited for this rematch.